So we have the GSky living walls. They're like small front and back walls that have like
Okay.
well, the way we use them is we have like a tote at the bottom as our reservoir that we then pump the water from the tote to the top of the wall, and then it trickles down and then goes back into the tote.
And tell me again, what plants would you say are in the wall? You mentioned fern. What else do you have in there?
So we have ferns, we have pothos, we have some Warnicki, like Warnicki tips. Sometimes we'll use marginata tips. Um, some anthurium sometimes just to add a little color.
Uh-huh.
That's pretty much all the varieties we use.
Before using clear flow, what were you using to keep it clean? Or
Nothing
were you
really. We were
using?
using like somewhat of a xylitol treatment, but that seemed to be a little too harsh. We were trying to run like some hydrogen peroxides through it, and those were also a little too harsh. And they just weren't eating away at the biofilm the way we wanted it to eat away
Okay.
at it. We didn't want like these drastic all these harsh chemicals running through here and drastically pushing all this stuff out at once and clogging it up. Like where your product more away just eats away at it in a slower amount of time, and then you're going to get that huge flow of biofilm, and then it'll eat away at that biofilm, and then you're back to normal. Where we noticed with the xylitols, it was just blockage after blockage because our it just couldn't keep up, and it was like corroding our hoses and our pumps as well. So we're ending up with a little corrosion and a little buildup from the actual other products that we were using.
And then the hydrogen peroxide, was that burning your plants as well?
We noticed a little bit. I mean, we dosed it correctly, but we were noticing some of our plants on the wall. We were having earlier replacements just based on the roots not being as strong, not liking that burning from the xylitol instead of like chewing away at the fungus or any gunk that's building up on them. It was just more or less drying them out and causing the roots to be less strong and kind of contract onto themselves, if that makes sense.
Okay. And then again, before using clear flow, what was the condition of your pumps?
Our pumps, well, so I took over the wall and our pumps were kind of working fine, but I was trying to add new plants, trying to get the wall back up to where it should have been, and then we were getting we're getting a lot of buildup. So it was in decent shape, but it was the pumps were just not seeming to be as strong. Like they
So
could,
they couldn't get the water up the wall?
yeah, they would get it up, or we'd notice. So usually when we come back to the walls, we have at least a 4 to 5 gallon drop in the water level, just based on it. It runs about every 10-20 minutes for about 10-20 minutes, just on the days that it's running. Um, so every time we would come back to the walls, we'd notice about 4 to 5 gallons gone, and then we're obviously filling it up when we need to. But before we started using the clear flow, there was a time where we were only seeing about like 2 gallons gone, or even like 1 gallon.
Mm,
So it was just it would work, or maybe the first 10 minutes that it was running was just kind of pushing the gunk to the top of it. And then the next 10 minutes, we were actually getting a little bit of water through. And then the next 10 minutes, we are getting more water through. Now it seems to just be a constant. We're getting water, as much water as we need every time. And we're not running into
okay.
the issues of we are coming back to the walls and they are actually drained, or they're actually, we need to fill them up because there's a lot of water moving
Okay,
through the reservoir.
that was your sign that you were finally getting clear flow
Yeah, yeah, a
through
little
your
clearer
living
flow.
walls.
Yes,
Was that you were
exactly.
actually going through the water. So then when you come, so do you come to your living walls once a month,
We go
bi-weekly?
once
What's
a
your
week and
once a
then we
week?
service once every 2 weeks. So once a week is just clean up the walls, make sure everything's going good because it is a ton of plants. It's a front and back, but it's like tucked into this little window nook.
Okay.
So the only way to get to the back is by pulling the wall out, and it
Okay.
overlooks like their cafeteria area. So once a week we'll pull the walls out, clean them up, and then the next week we'll fill them up, get everything. Hopefully the pumps are working, make sure everything's where it's supposed to be. So it's basically
And
kind
then
of like a walkthrough and then a service.
okay, and then so when you're servicing them and you refill your reservoir at the
Mm.
bottom, you fill it back up with water. Are you dosing it with clear flow again
Yeah,
at
so
that time?
when we notice about, we can judge basically by where it is 18 gallon tote. So basically, usually 4 to 5 gallons when I was filling it up with the bucket, trying to figure out exactly our approximate refill. We're hitting it with another 20 to 25 milliliters of clear flow.
Okay. And so then when you first started using it, the GSky had been installed for a while. You were having
Mhm.
problems with the living wall. That's
I
why
think
you
a
knew
couple
you
years
a
old.
couple years old. And so at first you did a shock treatment for it.
Hmm.
And were you able to hold the solution in there for 24 hours? How did you perform your shock treatment? You recall?
So we with our shock treatment, we just let the wall run almost to empty in the tote. So it was running
Okay.
for probably a couple hours, and then we then what drained out, we then supplemented like that added water with another amount of clear flow.
Okay. And so I think when we talked early in the spring, I had in my notes that before you were using ClearFlow, you were replacing about 15 to 30 plants a quarter.
Yeah, yeah, we so the 4-inch material, as you know, it's kind of hard to keep healthy in general and keep
Hmm.
moist. Once it dries out, uh, it's hard to get that moisture to wake up back into that soil. And pretty much when we would show up, the wall wouldn't run, and then we'd have 4-inch plants completely dry and completely dead.
Hmm.
So
And now that you've got the ClearFlow going through the system, are
we
you
haven't,
replacing plants?
no, we haven't. I don't think we've done a replacement on that wall since, yeah, since the last time we talked. So January, February, we haven't
And
done
and
a
we're sitting
replacement.
here
Well, we
in
did
middle of
replacements
September
to
now.
fill in like what we had lost prior to using ClearFlow. So we did
Right.
like a little replacement, I think in February, or like end of February, beginning of March, and all that stuff we haven't had to touch. We're
So
just
we've gone
pruning off
7 months now
dead material.
without any type of replacement.
Yeah, yeah, just pruning off dead material. That's obviously common from things getting shaded out and getting tucked in, but
Right.
nothing and I've been going there. I get pictures from the technician every week. He's like,
Uh-huh.
amazing the wall looks this week.
We
Yeah, it
love to
looks
hear
great.
that.
Yeah.
So since putting the clear flow in there, it's kept them well hydrated, kept the
Mhm.
walls running efficiently.
Yeah, it's a lot. Everything looks a lot happier. The plants seem to be showing
Uh-huh.
a little happier, and the roots just seem a little bit like just stronger. Even the plants that were like tucked in and shaded out have now started to grow out. We've noticed. I mean, that comes with time anyway, but it just seems to be a lot faster. We were having issues with it is 4-inch material, so it's very small. It's kind of hit or miss sometimes.
Hmm.
But we put a bunch of plants that we didn't think would do that well in there and that are actually thriving. Like some
Very
of our
good.
smaller ferns that were getting covered up, they've started to really show their character and push their way out of the wall.
So what would you tell someone who has a living wall? It's a hot mess for a variety of reasons, and they're thinking about using ClearFlow. What would you tell them?
I would tell them definitely use it. I mean, just be confident and prepared. Know it's like it's been trial and error. Like try if you're worried about it, try it on like a little pump. Like if you have a dirty pump somewhere, try it
Hmm.
on something that doesn't have plants. It does the
Hmm.
same thing to eat away at that algae and any gunk you have that's built up. It's just kind of watching it. Even if you have a plant that has algae built up on it, you could kind of
Hmm.
mix a little of it in water and let it sit and watch it kind of like eat away at the algae that's growing on your stuff. Like that's kind of how I did it at home first. Like when I was just kind of like putting it in things that I saw like algae growing on and
Uh-huh.
saw how it kind of ate away at it and what it did.
So you did use ClearFlow on algae as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Any like fungus or algae growth or that I noticed, not fungus really, mushrooms, but anything that I noticed like growing on the plants that shouldn't have been there on their white roots turning green or like
Uh-huh.
anything that's sticking up against the glass in some of my little plants with all my roots in them at home, my propagation
Hmm.
plants. Mixed a little bit in there and I can notice it kind of eating away. I have clear water in there now.
Yeah.
It's not all murky and algae built up.
Have you noticed ClearFlow reducing your service time? Has it saved you time?
It saved us time because now we don't have to run the pumps. And we were running the pumps. We were in there for like an hour because some of our pumps would run, like on our walkthrough day, we were in there for an hour just sitting on the walls because we were
Uh-huh.
noticing our pumps not running. So
And now?
we had to plug them in. Now, yeah, now we're just pulling them off the wall, cleaning them up, and pushing them back. It's probably about a half hour now. that he
Half
has to
hour
spend,
from an hour.
half hour, 25 minutes that he has to spend looking at the walls. Now I
Just
get a text, wall's looking great. Everything looks good. So I don't get the him being frustrated and me being frustrated because I can't figure it out and
right.
having to go there and check on him, make sure everything looks good. Now I can just rely on him to relay me the. Now I'm kind of out of it and he's handling it himself, which is nice.
Excellent.
But
Excellent.
I've been checking up on him routinely. So
Right. But less labor, less manpower to
exactly, yeah, less people to spend staring at a problem trying to fix it that they can't fix.
wonderful.